In studio this month, we actually sat down with Sergeant Jesse Hambrick of the Douglas County Sheriff's Department to talk about the growing meth problem in our county and our state. Let's find out what you need to be aware of. Jesse, today we want to talk to you about the meth problem in Douglas County and, drugs in general. And how this came about was a recent event outside of Atlanta where 3 children were killed in a house fire because someone was making meth. And a lot of people may not realize, but meth has become a real problem here in our community. It's not just one that affects the bigger cities. Tell me a little bit about your work and just what's going on with the meth problem in our county.
Okay. Just to, I guess, give a brief history of meth use, if you will, in Douglas County. Meth was never really a big issue as far as a drug problem prior to the year 2000. In the year 2000, we had 1 meth arrest at the Sheriff's Department. So compared to all the other drug arrests, meth was a very, very tiny portion of our problem. By the year 2005, we'd had over 300 arrests. We saw a very dramatic increase 2002, 3, and 4, where it had become such a big issue that parents and friends and family were, what was not normal, but all of a sudden they're just coming into the Sheriff's Department looking for help. And, normally people don't turn to law enforcement for help with criminal activity of that nature. And we had people just were coming in saying, my daughter, my son, my husband, wife, whatever, was using meth, and I'm just at a wit's end. I don't know what to do. So, of course, in 2004, we started the Meth Task Force, and with guidance from the sheriff and through the administration at the Sheriff's Department, we really started focusing on more of a multifaceted approach. We really began trying to identify where the problems were at for those that were either dealing or producing the drug. And we attack that problem from a law enforcement perspective. We've always said that if you're going to deal drugs or you're going to make drugs in this community, then jail is the option. But we had a lot of people that we weren't, being able to provide help to through the Sheriff's Department. Those people that were willingly coming in saying, "Look, I'm not out there making, and I'm not out there dealing. I have an addictions problem, and I really need some help." And we didn't really know how to address that at first. But by 2003, 4, 5, in those years, we really began providing opportunities for treatment for those people. We wanted to have a law enforcement approach as well as a treatment option for those people that were willing to go out and get better. Because if they got better, I've learned, and having dealt with many a great person that has gotten better, that not only do they become, kind of an anti-drug campaign in and of themselves, but they go out and they educate people and they want to help people. And so we had that option, and then we, went through basically an awareness campaign. We've got a couple of different videos that we've put out about the problem. I've taught probably, I would say, in the area of 180,000 people across the Southeast and even into other parts of the country, just trying to spread the word, because it just doesn't stop at the county line. People are affected way past that. So we've got a great, I guess you could call it a prevention and education component as well. Just trying to warn people, number one, don't ever start using this, because one use can get you hooked. If you do find yourself in that bad scenario, we want to provide some help to try to get you better. And if you're not going to get better, then the last option is, of course, that law enforcement component where we've got to arrest and prosecute those people that are committing crimes in the community.
You mentioned people getting better and getting help. What are you seeing is most successful in helping people who are addicted to meth, or maybe they're addicted to taking prescription painkillers? Any types of drugs, what do you see has the greatest impact on helping them recover from that?
Well, I think first and foremost, everyone would agree that the person has to have the desire to want to get better. If they don't have that desire, then you can, pump anything out there to them, and they're just going to, not necessarily wasted, but it's just not going to be effective. So when we get somebody who says, first step, I want help, then you kind of have to cater a program to them. One of the things that I'm doing is working on my addiction counselor certification. We want to be able to just not have them come in and just throw brochures or pamphlets or just information at a parent or a family member or even a user. We want to begin to try to cater a program for them. And for one person, it may be, a year in a residential program, or maybe for another person, it might be some faith-based component where they can go 2 or 3 or 4 days a week and have that support group. But what we found is regardless that long-term care is important. However you break that up, whether it be starting at residential and then going to some type of an outpatient or an outsourcing meetings, whatever it might be, you don't get yourself into an 18-month or 2-year drug addiction and expect to turn around and get better in a week. It literally is going to be a lifetime of effort that's got to be put forth by the user and the support group, the family, and those kind of things. So,
briefly tell me about signs of drug use that people can look for at home if they think they have a family member or maybe a friend. Some obvious signs where we can realize, okay, this person has some kind of problem, or maybe an addiction that's gone to that point.
Well, addiction in general, it's going to be those signs and symptoms that are going to be unexplainable issues that people are dealing with, like with meth, weight loss. For those of us who are on some type of a regimen where we eat right and we're exercising, that's easily explainable. But for a person just to drop 50 or 60 pounds and then not be able to explain it, and they're not going to the gym, they're not eating right, they're not doing those things. Just the overall kind of careless look or feel or even attitude. Someone who goes from caring about, whether it be horseback riding or their family, that all of a sudden out of the blue just, basically begins to shun those things that were important to them. That's a good indicator as well. Specifically with meth, the sores that develop on the body, that unkept, almost a homeless type look. And these people that have homes and they come from good neighborhoods, but they just don't take care of themselves as if they could. Those are all good indicators. And then probably with meth, the one that people call about most is that mental change. Aggression, anger, not being of sound mind, where they begin to just talk what we would call crazy talk that just doesn't make sense, things that are just not how they should be. And the parents know there's something wrong, or the family members know there's a problem, but they just maybe not know that it's meth use. Those are all really good indicators that would make them begin to reach out and try to get this person some help. And a lot of times it is a meth addiction that they're trying to get help for.